Joining me now is comedian and host of Primetime with Alex Stein on Blaze TV. Alex, these revelations are pretty astonishing. In the aftermath of this shocking mass shooting, the mother was maligned, though it appears she had little choice but to affirm her son's transition, particularly in a state like Minnesota.
No, Rita, you're exactly right. But let's just be honest, fortifying a mental illness like gender dysphoria basically just says to Robert that Robert was born in the wrong body. And I feel like once you kind of make that diagnosis in a young person, it really is almost impossible to have an adult life without a lot of pain and struggle. And I think that's why Robert did this, is because Robert decided to change his gender, was not happy as a woman, and really felt like they had no other options. And, I was at the state legislature in Texas talking about the suicide rate being extremely high in transgenders. And it's just a sad reality when it comes to mental health. And we're not treating it by cutting off or giving hormones that affect people's puberties or cutting off their genitals. So, we really need to take a look at this. And I don't know how much blame we can put on the mother, but she's certainly not immune from criticism for sure. I just don't know if she's responsible for the death of these poor children.
Well, the killer himself wrote, gender and weed effed up my head. I wish I had never tried experimenting with either. How much responsibility does a parent have? It looks like the mother wasn't in favour of this, though it's been reported she felt pressured to affirm this transition. But if you've got a parent who's facilitating this, perhaps even encouraging it, including these irreversible treatments and, in some cases, surgeries, how much responsibility does a parent like that have?
Well, if Robert Westman was still at home and he was 16 or 17, I do think the parent would have a lot more responsibility. But the fact that he was in his 20s and this happened, I don't want to blame the parents. They're obviously going through a very difficult time. And once again, they did reinforce this mental illness, so they are partially to blame. But, nobody would probably expect a person to get a gun, go to a Catholic church and shoot a 7 and 10-year-old. I mean, that is just unthinkable. It's unfathomable. So, once again, it is partially for them to blame, but I don't know how much legal ramifications they'll face for this terrible tragedy because, Robert Westman was of age.